What is up? Welcome back to the Beyond the Coach podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kelsey Nanini.
And I'm Chris Sweet.
We've had some fun podcasts lately, some shoot the shit podcasts, some fun podcasts, and we're kind of bringing back. Last week that we launched was like goal setting, so that was a good one. But this week we're bringing back a little element of education, which I feel like this topic we decided on it, but didn't realize how good of timing it is because it's launching on the 31st of the year, which is the last day of 2025. That's crazy to say, and it's going to be here before we know it because it's technically in like 6 weeks from now.
And you're going to have a baby.
I'm going to have a child. I probably will be up at midnight this year because I'll be having to feed it. Happy New Year. But we wanted to talk about, I feel like that was the weirdest time for me to put on chapstick, but I was thinking about it, and so I just did it.
For anyone who's listening, Kelsey did just put on chapstick.
It was like so like weirdly placed. Like I was like in the middle of, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to talk about like if you want to get your clients consistent results, how to do it, which I think just is a really great segue into the new year where you have, I don't know what 2026 will be like. I know the past couple of years it's been weird where like for a lot of people I've heard January and February were like weirdly dead and then like March picked up, but every year is different. So I'm interested to see if there will be an influx of people ready to hit their goals in January this year or not. Yeah. But I think this is a great topic going into the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. And pretty much what we're going to discuss is if you want to get your clients really good results, like and also for your current clients too. I think this goes into like your confidence and retention and referrals and all of that stuff. Kelsey, what are you doing?
Just wanted to smell my candle.
It's like in the last podcast, you're eating a pancake bowl. This one, I'm like hearing like what sounded like scissors and actually was a lighter. And now we have a candle.
Now you're going to hear it. But it's such a vibe of a smell. I just love it. So I'm sorry.
Should I light mine? I have my little pumpkin next to me. This is my pumpkin vibes.
Oh, that's a cute candle.
It's really cute. Which is why, like, when you have really, oh my God, I can't get it off.
Oh, it's waxed together. Did the wax melt on it?
Oh no. Oh, got it. Oh, wow. Did you hear that?
Yeah. It was a nice little
ASMR. But it's such a good smelling candle that I'm like, gosh, I really don't want to use it because then it's gone. And it's from Home Goods, so I'm never going to find another version of this candle ever again.
That's true. I made this one. And I've made 2 of them now because you can go, it's that like place where you pour your own candle. We were by
I actually have that on my to-do list to do this winter. Can we go? Should we go?
Yeah, we should go because I need to make another one.
Perfect. Amazing. Anyways, back to the topic. Sorry, guys. Getting your clients consistent results and how you can do this going into the new year, how you can have a better system for getting clients results that maybe you felt a little chaotic with. Maybe you're like, my clients are falling off. Some are crushing it. Some aren't. I'm onboarding clients. I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to do with them. Like all the different thoughts and feelings and everything that can come in. Sometimes you feel like it's all slipping through and other times you feel like it's all together. So how can you start the new year with getting your clients consistent results and setting your clients up and really being proactive, not reactive with your coaching methods and systems that you're focusing on? So Kelsey, I will let you kick it off.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things when it comes down to getting your clients consistent results is what you do from the beginning. And I think that's like not well talked about enough. I used to have a really just like basic onboarding process that just kind of like we learned in business coaching. Just like,
dude, I wish I could find like the archives of like the first email I ever sent to someone onboarding them or the first Zoom call I ever had with someone. Like, bless the clients who stayed with me through all of that. Thank you.
I want to try to pull it up. I want to try to pull one up. Well, we'll figure it out. Maybe while you're talking, I'll try to do some research. But it's all about how you start a client. It's all about the intention that you set from the get-go. And I'm very passionate about that. I think if you don't set expectations, you don't set boundaries, and you don't have a really good plan starting out that is built for your client, you're setting them up to fail.
Yeah.
And I think that's what does separate the really good programs from the so-so programs and the programs that people are going to leave and then they're going to get on a sales call with another coach and be like, yeah, I had this program that just wasn't really for me and it wasn't really built for me. It wasn't customized. And so, if you want to get your client consistent results, it's all about how you start the program off. Something we teach in Beyond the Cert is like how to start a client's programming, how to start a client's nutrition. And it's not, I actually had somebody ask this to me on a sales call earlier this week. She's like, so how do you like start my nutrition? Is it just you like need my height and weight and then you calculate it out? And I was like, no. No.
No, honey.
I was like,
welcome to the fun side.
Yes. Welcome to the side that's finally going to get you results. And she had done like first form challenges and there's no shade against those challenges, right? Like something is better than nothing and just working on your health in general. Like I'll always applaud somebody for that, but there's better options that are more custom to you. And she recognized, she's like, I know it was all calculated out. It was all automated and generated and whatever. And I'm like, well, we do it a little different here. We do use numbers as in like your TDEE and your BMR for just a reference, but we don't use that for starting out. We actually want to know everything you're doing starting out, which is why we have this 2-week baseline. And I went into talking about that. And I find that clients are a whole lot more successful when you start them out. Hear me out. People are going to hate this. Right around where they already are. Right around what they're already doing. It's not
shocking.
Yeah, it's everyone is like, your clients are nervous starting a new program. They're like, every time I start something new, the coach has me do all these crazy things and then I burn out. It's a lot. I want to make coaching feel so similar to what you're already doing that you don't even recognize that you're doing coaching because we're just making such small changes that are building up and easy to follow over time. So that's what my first thing is. It's just like all about the intention you start from the beginning.
Yeah. We say it literally in those modules of like, retention starts at the point of onboarding, like at the point of sending that really literally what immediately happens after you get off the sales call and having a system there. And this is where my biggest gripe is as a business coach, I guess you could say, is like, having a client come to me and be like, hey, what should I post on social media? But they have no idea how to onboard a client. I'm like, can we like, I'm not saying you have to have all your shit together, by the way, like not at all. You only have to be one step ahead, but like, you do need to understand, okay, if you're posting on social media and you get someone in, like have these things in the back end that are actually going to go into the success that you're literally speaking to on social media. I did find an onboarding email actually from March 8th of 2020. For whatever reason, my email stopped anytime before that. So whoever my 2019 gals were, it's probably good that I'm not seeing those emails because I don't want to know what was there. First off, I misspelled what my business name was in the welcome to. So didn't even proofread that. You can also tell that ChatGPT didn't exist, clearly based on how I formatted this. I will say I used a lot of capitals for some reason with exclamation points.
It's all caps.
I said, step 4, the most important, pay attention to me.
Wow. Chris, just from the get-go was like, bitch, pay attention.
I put in all capitals. I need your macro baseline, AKA what are you eating? All capitals. None of that was lowercase. Nice. I will say I did lay out some good stuff. Like I had all here's how you're going to do it. Here's how the check-ins are. No welcome anything, obviously, like none of that.
Obviously.
Clearly not. Like there was just no welcome information, nothing. It was just a lot of text on. So first off, assessing this, what would have set my clients up for better success was a simpler onboarding process. Like I was overcomplicating this. It wasn't that I didn't have an onboarding process. It's that I was throwing 12,000 steps with capitals and bolds and exclamations at them. I'm reading this and I'm like, dude, where the hell would I have started? I don't know. Like you're telling me to go set up this form and then this form. And then you're telling me about this app I'm going to get access to. And like, now I have to go check my email for the app as well. Now you're telling me that I need my check-in photos due this Monday. And now you're telling me that after This is the best part. After pictures and weight has been uploaded in the app, you must message me the following things in our personal messenger. And it was 8 questions. So you're telling me that I was forcing someone to copy and paste 8 questions and then type it to me on their phone. Send that to me. If you do not message me these things, you will not get a response from me. No shit. Like, because you're not messaging me. Like, what was I doing here? Like, literally, what was I doing
aggressive.
here?
Mine was a little bit different from yours.
Really?
In that you said you should simplify it. But this was from June 13th, 2022. I said, welcome to the Real Health and Performance fam. Here's everything for getting started on 6/16 with a
what a warm
face.
welcome.
Super nice. Yeah. Fill out this form. It's a type form. I'm assuming that was like their intro form. Get this back as soon as you're able to so that your coach can start your plan. She started on 3 days after this email was sent, and I didn't put like, get this to me today. Like, do it as soon as you're able to, because you may not have a plan on Monday if this isn't done.
Yep.
And then if you didn't join with your call with Kelsey, join our WhatsApp group chat and also join our Facebook page. Why did I ever have both? Why did I ever have a client group chat on WhatsApp and a client Facebook page? There was no need. I did have everyone track what they were having in my Fitness Pal to have a baseline, so I feel good about that. I've been doing that since the beginning. We've been custom since the beginning, so that's a positive. And then I said, you should get an email. You should. Hopefully you do. From Trainerize to sync my Fitness Pal on your watch. Let us know if you have any questions with that. You'll also be getting emails to access your Google folder for your check-in form, exercise video feedback folder, and client resource library. Everything was so everywhere.
That's a lot of steps.
But that was it. I didn't say, like, here's your read through the handbook, upload your photos. There was no instruction. I feel
like I would have gotten that and I would have been like, okay, cool.
What do I do now? Go to a type form. Then you're also going to go to a WhatsApp chat and a Facebook group and a Google folder. And then also Trainerize. 5 different things on all different systems.
I also put in here, and after these 8 weeks, to show you even more appreciation, I'm offering 20% off all future one-on-one coaching programs. This is an extremely exclusive offer just for you.
Wait, you put that in their onboarding email? Hey, I know you just signed up, but if you'd like to continue, it's 20% off right now today. That's like when you buy something like on a random site for like clothes and they're like, would you like to add on this Sherpa jacket for only $25? It's normally $46.
Like, why did I put that? Like, why?
It's pitching people to re-sign before they even start.
Why did I do that? Like, I don't understand. I did also find this email. I launched a challenge and I found like the email that I sent to people who applied. Oh boy, hold on, let me read this to you. Well, we're gonna do this last archive and then we'll really talk strategy. But, first off, they applied and then I sent them an email. I didn't get on a phone call. I didn't do anything. I didn't know anything about these people. This was also in the day and age where you could just post something and you'd have 20 people. If they were breathing,
yeah, you could just, yep.
First off, in all capitals, I said, hey, love. Didn't even address the person.
In all caps.
I don't even use the word love. I say dude. Like,
hello, love.
Hello, love. I said, I just read over your 8-week challenge application. I'm so excited to accept you into this. I'm thrilled to see that you want to take this next step in elevating your journey. My goal as your coach is to help you find your capital balance. You are allowed to have fun and capital enjoy life while achieving your fitness goals. Regarding the 8-week challenge, it'll begin on this day and end on this day. Here's what you're going to get with it. Sounds pretty amazing, right? I didn't wait to get you started.
Right?
Started with this challenge.
Doesn't that sound great? And it's like not even descriptive. You're like, it's just balance and you're going to enjoy it. Sounds pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah. Here we are.
Basic thing ever.
And then I disclose the price and I say the price of this challenge is $125, which will be billed to you upon accepting your spot in the challenge. That's a little less than $16 per week. Are you willing to give up eating out once a week to invest in your health? All I need from you is to reply to this email with a capital, all caps, hell yes, I am in. I will send another email to get you set up and ready for March 30th. I'm genuinely so happy for you and excited for you to see yourself take control of your health over the next few months. Your coach, Chris, with a heart next to my name. I'm done. I'm done looking at the archives. I've pissed myself off already. Like, this isn't it. Anyways, this goes all back into how to get your clients consistent results. One, have a clear onboarding process, because clearly from what you just read for Kelsey and I, we had either a million things and then a million places they had to go, or we had no clarity on things and nowhere to go further than this. You have to set deadlines for clients. You have to know the steps for you to be onboarded, like for your clients, obviously, into your business. So it definitely starts there. And I agree. It starts with like getting that baseline and seeing like where they start right out the gate, getting them really consistent. I actually talked about this in the reverse dieting masterclass that we just had recently, where I was just saying like, you have to get consistent, not just with the macros, but also the lifestyle. Like, how do you get, like, it's a permission slip across all boards of what we need to get consistent with. Like, I'm not going to suddenly change your numbers just because you did really well with your macros, but then the rest of your life was like on fire and you didn't get in your workouts and you didn't get in your steps and you didn't do anything. Like, there is so many different pillars of success. And I feel in the beginning of me coaching, I did not make that clear for clients. It was a very like weirdly backwards system that I was working with, like to coach clients. I also didn't know how to coach clients online. I only had ever known the world of in-person training, where you're seeing them in person and you're assessing their form and you're having brief conversations over things and like giving them slight suggestions for their nutrition. I didn't know what it was like to actually like relay information via only, not social media, but via technology. And I feel that you guys just need to get your clients consistent and set multiple pillars of success, not just putting the emphasis onto the macros and calories, because while those are important, what are the other things that you're trying to focus on your clients with? For us, having our base phase helps significantly, because you do get a sense of literally where they're starting in every aspect, not just with nutrition, and then hoping that they suddenly follow the plan that you just spent an hour putting together that then the client doesn't like, and now you have to change everything because you didn't have baseline information on them.
It's knowing like what their lifestyle is, what is their career, what makes them tick, what are their like triggers, what has caused them to fail in the past, why haven't they stuck to it, why are they struggling still now. Like, knowing all those things is so important. I had a sales call earlier this week with someone who she was saying that all the other coaches that she's had in the past, she's like, it was never actually built for me. She has like 2 really active jobs. And they're she's very much so like, I want to just go hard. And I know just from prior injury, like I can't do that because my job also requires physicality. And she's like, nothing has ever been built for me. And I was like, yeah, like I never want to talk down about another coach. Like, I obviously wanted to be like, hey, I'm glad you were investing in yourself. But I was like, that's frustrating for me to hear, because I pride myself, and I know like Apex, we pride ourselves on getting creative with clients and making sure it fits into what you are needing specifically in your life right now. Maybe that means you're not going as hard as possible right now. Maybe you're not reaching your point of like peak fitness right now. We can still work towards that. And it is built into your life, because she's like, hey, at one point I was doing both of my jobs, and I was also going to the gym 5 days a week, lifting super heavy, recognizing I also wasn't eating enough. And I plateaued so fast. And so it's really great when someone obviously recognizes that. But you have to know who you're coaching. You have to know that the single 23-year-old that works a normal, like, let's just assume she works 9 to 5, but she has like a ton of flexibility in her schedule and she can go to work out at lunch, whatever it is, or a single 21-year-old nurse that has 4 days off a week, a little bit different from a mom that has 4 kids. She also works full time. Her kids are all in sports. She has a lot of stress at work. You have to know who you are coaching, because not every program is going to be made the same for every person. It shouldn't be. There can obviously be a framework, but you have to know who you're coaching and like what their capacity is, what they can handle, and also being willing to adjust that too. Obviously have a plan, but always let your clients know that it is subject to change.
Yeah. I think it's definitely going in with the rigidity that, and to be fair, I mean, that textbooks teach us, right? Like
Yep.
textbooks teach us rigidity of like black and white. This is what it's supposed to look like. You know, everything
Mm.
in text needs to be followed step by step by step perfectly. And that's why I love Beyond the Cert and what we teach coaches within our container is actually all. I always say coaching is situational. I'm like, coaching is so situational and
Yeah.
you will never have a black and white answer to anything. You ask me a question, I'm going to give you probably 5 different scenario or outcomes that could come out of that question. And like, depending what the client's body does, depending on all these things, whatever. But
Hmm.
I actually saw a TikTok, and it was a coach who was saying like, basically she had seen something on social media, and it was this other coach who was like basically showing their morning routine. And it was like, 8 a.m., get out of bed, 8:30, meditate, 9:30, like go for a light walk, 10:30, log into computer, 12:30, go out for lunch with friend. And like it was yes, it was mocking it. Obviously that person is successful enough to have that type of life, but she was basically trying to influence other people by showing her routine. And this coach was like, there's no value for my audience who are parents, who are nurses, who are corporate workers to see that because it's not applicable to them. And she basically was just getting at the fact of like, that's not going to be your routine. Like she was being very blunt. She was like, that's not going to be your routine if you work with me. If you work with me, like I need to understand like where you're coming from, what your life is. And it really resonated. So, absolutely, with getting consistent results, you also need to have the authority to help clients understand that, like, they're not going to fit that mold. Like, sometimes clients come in with the unrealistic expectation of, oh, I'm going to be able to, you know, shoot for the moon and do all the things and everything. And it can be a very humbling experience. And I think that's where you lose trust with a client is when they come on and you overpromise to them exactly what the journey is going to look like on a sales call. And then they come in and trust is lost because suddenly it looks so different, or they're, you know, resistant to things, you're resistant to things. There's no fluidity in that. And I feel like you have to have some version of that where you are fluid with the client and fluid with your coaching to know like how to titrate that based on their needs, because they are humans and everybody is a little bit different. The way we coach our ACA clients who are coaches is so different than our Apex Lifestyle clients who are moms or work 9 to 5s and have very different circumstances. The standard is the same to what we set them to, but the circumstances or the plan at which we're having them follow to get to said standard is different. And that's going to be totally applicable. And that's going to get clients to stay longer because then they're going to see, like, oh, I'm not just working with a coach in the perfect season of life. Like, I get to work with a coach in the chaotic seasons of life and, you know, through all the changes and whatever's coming up for them. So, yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. Like we've said, it's like knowing your clients, or like something I've always prided myself on as a coach is having a deep understanding of people's lives and their career paths. And even though I'm not, well, actually, as this releases, I am a mom. I don't
Crazy.
know what that lifestyle is like yet. I don't have a kid that I'm running around to practice 3 nights a week. I don't have that. But what I have been able to do over my time of coaching is have a deep understanding of what that looks like. I lived that growing up. My parents were always running us around to practices and splitting time between my brother and I and figuring out how they're going to get us to places, and still working full time. And so it's something where like you as a coach have to understand, even if you haven't lived that specific scenario, you still are understanding where that client is coming from. Even if you aren't a parent, you have the empathy and the understanding to know like how their life is differing from you. If you've never been a nurse, you still need to understand what is necessary. Like, what even does that look like as a nurse? More than likely, you probably have like a friend who's a nurse, or like someone you know that's a nurse. I always try to actually like talk to friends or family members that have careers that are similar to my clients, so I have a good idea of it. And even if I don't have that availability or like capability, I will ask the client, like, what does a day look like for you? Have them do a time audit, research their career, like have a deep understanding of what their day to day is looking like. And it's never a bad thing to ask a client. It's never bad to clarify what their schedule looks like, what their commute looks like, what their life, just get into their life, because then you can better help. I know I really struggled actually with the nurse schedule at first. So I was like, oh my gosh, you work 12-hour shifts for
Especially if
the,
they're like night shift
yes,
12 hours and then they're
it's
needing to
different.
swap back to days. Those days are I
like the
still have
swing
Christians
shift
on my
where they
roster.
do
Yep.
both. Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Horrible.
yeah.
I can't
Same.
imagine. And so it's like having the empathy and having the understanding to build that plan for them. I'm like,
Yeah.
nurses are hard workers. They also will burn themselves out. And there's so many things like, they feel the need to always do 5 workouts a week. And I'm like, hey, what if we just did like 3 or 4 workouts really, really well? Knowing that
Yeah.
you're super active on your work days. And so I think it really does boil down to, for instance, like the client I was talking about earlier who just signed up as a firefighter. That's a physically demanding job for 24 hours, given it is typically 2 days a week. Some people pick up overtime, but like if you want a consistent client, it starts with you understanding the psyche of that client and the day-to-day life of that client so that you can build a plan that actually does work for them. Because if you build a plan based off of what everyone else is doing and all your other clients are doing, what you're always doing, there's this. And there's the client feeling like they're constantly failing. You're butting heads with them. You're now fighting on them. They're going to give up because they're like, well, my coach doesn't even understand me. Like they don't know what they're doing. Where I always love using the word, let's get creative. Because at the end of the day, you have to get creative for every client at some point, or you should. And that's what building a plan for a client is truly about. That's what one-on-one coaching is truly about. It's not built in a textbook. It's built in you actually just having a deep understanding of their psyche and their day-to-day and what they're needing in that time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we've talked about obviously like the point of onboarding, like having something that is really clear for your clients, having something that is customizable, that isn't, the copy and paste templated version. I will say it's okay to have skeleton versions of things, but you just have to go in and you have to edit them. Like you just have to be willing to do that. And you're going to have operating procedures and systems that are, plug and play and rinse and repeat, which is great. Like your check-in system, my check-in system, how I go about check-ins is the same per client, but obviously the delivery and the context at which what I'm saying to a client, you could go look at 5 of my check-ins and they're all going to say different things. They're all going to give slightly different advice from the same moral perspective and values I have as a coach, but different per the person's life. And I think that that's really important, is to even go and audit your own check-ins, go audit your own programs, go like kind of pick yourself apart and be like, where am I falling short? Like, where could I be doing, better on this? But the last thing that I was going to add is, getting clients consistent results requires you to stay consistently the authority with the clients. You have to consistently have a roadmap. You have to consistently know how to stay in the position of kind of power with clients, in a sense of like, hey, I know the steps, I know where I'm going. And I see that this is where I think coaches really suffer, and where their re-sign and retention really suffers as well, is when they don't know, when they're like, suddenly the re-signs are coming up and they're like, I don't know how I'm going to keep all these clients. It's like, well, what's the roadmap? What's the plan? Where are they at? I have no idea. It's like, to get clients consistent results, it's not to look at an end date coming and thinking it's the means to an end. It's the means to a continuation, and you need to plan for that. So many coaches don't plan past the deficit, plan past the reverse, past the maintenance, past the thing. And then they lose authority, because that's when also clients start to take back the reins. Suddenly they're doing things more independently. Sure, they've built leadership and now they're doing it themselves, but like they're doing it to a degree where they're like, I actually don't need my coach anymore, because my coach, after this initial plan, we kind of just let things loose just a bit. Like things started to get a little bit, I don't know, not as more lenient, I guess, in the coaching realm and like what you're doing with clients. So consistently staying in the authority, staying organized, being a business owner is important to keep clients and to get those clients continuous results, so that they don't leave the program and regress, but rather they're continuing to make progress. And then when they do graduate from the program, it's because you've given them all the skills they need. And what I love is when clients do come back to us, because they know we've given them those skills. And when they're in their next season of life where they just want that accountability, they come back because they have a trusted place. That's my goal, is like, I want to be the trusted person for those people for when they do think of hiring a coach.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to add to that too, of being the authority doesn't mean always giving the answers. This is something I actually worked a lot with a coach on our team, Devin, who is an incredible coach. And I had to have a conversation with her because I was like, hey, like, how do your clients respond when you give them the answers? she's like, that's actually a good point. I feel like they don't really respond super well. I'm like, yeah, because they don't need the answers. They know the answers. They're just not doing it. Right. And so she's like, it's so funny because as a coach, I constantly feel like I have to have all of the answers and I have to be providing all the tips and tricks. And I was like, yeah, but it doesn't have to be that way. It actually can be motivational interviewing, putting putting it in the what am I trying to say? Putting it in the client's shoes. Like basically you're putting the ball in the client's court. I don't know where shoes came in with that.
I was like, you're trying to walk in their shoes. We kind of
Yeah,
already talked about.
sure. Either way,
Like,
either analogy works, I guess.
I was like,
Yikes. Putting the ball in the client's
pregnancy
court.
brain.
Pregnancy brain times 100. And that's not having your client take the reins. That's not having your client take the driver's seat. It's actually really, really high level coaching when you are able to better understand where the client is coming from versus just being like, oh, you didn't hit your protein again this week. Okay, well, we need to do this, this, and this. They don't need another tip of how to hit their protein.
Yeah.
You have to understand why they aren't doing it as a repeat offender. Yes, it's okay every once in a while to toss that in. If it's 1 week of bad, it's like, hey, I would love to know where you're coming from on this. Maybe at this meal we can add more, 4 ounces of chicken instead of 3 ounces of chicken. It can be as simple as that. But if you have a repeat offender who literally never hits their protein, they've heard the tips.
Yeah.
You have to actually bring them to realize they aren't doing it because they're going to be like, oh, I know I'm not doing it. Why? Why are you not doing it? And that's staying in the authority. Another thing I was going to say about consistency with clients and getting them consistent results is them being consistent. Something I don't do with clients is make changes if they aren't being adherent. I think that's something that I've noticed as a trend with a lot of my ACA clients when I do like protocol audits or they ask questions about a client and they're like, hey, they're just not staying consistent. And I'm like, well, you made all these changes. I had a client, which maybe we can do a podcast on this whole situation, but she's like, she's just not like seeing results. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. You kept making changes to her nutrition. And I was going through, she actually used the biofeedback tracker that we have available for our clients. And I was like, you kept making changes to her macros, but she wasn't hitting the previous macros, even close. But you kept adding food. And when you kept adding food before she was consistent, she wasn't even getting consistent with the old stuff. And then you're trying to add more and she's still not eating that amount. And then she's not even hitting the old one when you have the new one. And so before you make changes to a client's plan, they have to be sticking to the current plan. Otherwise, there's no point in changing something you're basically changing something that hasn't been changed in the first place, like hasn't even been adjusted to in the first place. And so something I don't do, even in like a reverse diet, I've had clients ask like, why are we not increasing this week? And I'm like, well, you didn't hit the old numbers. So why would I increase if you're not even hitting these numbers? And so it's only making changes at the pace in which your client can even manage it and getting an idea of why they're not managing it and why they're not staying adherent. It's kind of also similar to like the client who's like, I really want to work out 5 days a week. And you're like, you're only working out twice right now. And they're like, I know, but 5 days a week is what I want. And I'm like, cool. Like we're going to start with 2 and then we'll build up an optional 3rd. And they're like, why? And I'm like, well, because why would I give you 5 if you're only doing 2? You have to earn that 5th day. And you haven't earned it yet because you're not even staying consistent with 2. If you're not staying consistent going to the gym twice a week, you're surely not just going to go start doing 5 days a week and actually stay consistent with that long term.
Yeah, 100%. The last thing that popped in my head too was just consistency with our own data tracking with clients. So having a system to that to get clients consistent results. Like if you're doing check-ins and you forget what you said the week before, it's going to be really hard to help keep the client on the consistent path if you said something in the previous check-in that then you don't apply to the next one. So have a documenting system, have a biofeedback tracker, have a way that you look back at data to be consistent, to know if the client's consistent, that then allows your coaching to stay consistent. If your clients feel like every week they're being thrown different advice because you're not remembering what you said the week before, it can get really messy and that will affect your retention, that will affect your client results. They're not going to have any clarity towards what they're working towards themselves. So yeah, it's just, I can't say enough. I think authority is like the biggest thing, but authority shows up in so many different ways. It's authority in your systems. It's authority in your tracking. It's authority in your conversations and in your check-ins and how you roadmap with clients. that stuff is not taught in business coaching. It is not taught in sales and marketing. You'll learn how to track your KPIs, but will you learn how to actually know if your clients are being successful? Probably not. And that is why we built exactly what we have, and why like I flex on it all the time is like nobody has what we have of what we teach, because it bridges the largest gap I see as a business coach. And I love it. So I think getting your clients consistent results starts with you being consistent first, and in your systems, in your processes, to know what that next step is for the client and working ahead with them, and to again be proactive, not reactive, especially when you're doing check-ins and putting together protocols.
Yep. Always go back to the plan. I feel like whenever I'm like on the verge of changing something in the plan or something in the roadmap is coming up, I'll always go through it with the client and be very clear. So like I think your communication is crucial when you are making changes, letting your clients know and also letting them know why. I think it's really hard also for a client to get consistent results and stay consistent in a plan when they don't know why they're doing something. Like if your client doesn't know why, it's really hard to stick to it. So that's another piece I would say. But you brought up biofeedback tracker. I'll include a link in the show notes below that has a free resource for you guys. It's a biofeedback tracker, as well as just some tips on like tracking client success. And hopefully you guys enjoy that. It's going to be a game changer for you to implement it with your clients. Our clients love it. And it also just helps us with making changes in our coaching without just guessing. It's like actually using data to make changes in coaching. So definitely go download that. But yeah, that's...
Yeah. I was just going to add to, like, I know our last episode was about goal setting. So for you guys, you know, with starting January 2026 out, like if there's anything that you can dedicate your January to, in my opinion, it's setting yourself up with the KPIs that we talked about, with setting your goals, with setting everything from a business perspective, but also organizing all the client stuff to let 2026 be the year where you just honestly feel like you have your shit together and you're starting it out in January versus waiting till March, April, May. Like no matter how busy or slow January is about to be for you guys, I can't say it enough. Dedicate a half hour to an hour a day of just focusing on the consistency of your coaching, the consistency of your organization, while onboarding clients, while doing everything else. There can be a duality of both. Your capacity might be a little stretched in January, but you're going to thank yourself come June, July, August, when you have all this stuff together and your clients are crushing it and re-signs are happening now 6 months into a contract. Like you're going to thank it. So stop thinking like, oh, I'll do that when, and actually just do it. Like if there is one thing I want you guys to do in January is like, do the thing that you say you keep doing, do the thing that's been on your to-do list, do the thing that's popping in your head as you're listening to this podcast. And don't accept like any less of yourself from it.
Yeah, I can guarantee you, if you are frustrated with multiple clients right now because they aren't staying adherent, they aren't doing the thing, they aren't following protocol, they aren't checking in, they're ghosting, it's not all on them. That's like the hardest thing to talk about with a coach. Like also it happens, right? The best coaches have clients ghost. I still have clients who don't get back to me for weeks. Like it is a thing, but it's very rare for that to happen. I have 80, I would say like 85% plus of client check-ins every week. Actually, my Monday check-ins, every single person checks in every single week. Like the only ones is Tuesdays. Sometimes people don't check in. But I have very consistent check-ins and I have people responding, and it's because I have systems in place. When you have those systems in place and when you are consistent as a coach and they know how you're going to show up, they know they're going to get very consistent, structured feedback, they want to check in and they want to be adherent for you and for themselves. And so it really is the stuff that you have in place. It's not that it's not even necessarily you're a bad coach because your clients are ghosting or they aren't being adherent. Maybe you just have bad systems. You could be an amazing coach and have horrible systems and horrible organization, and now your clients are struggling as a result. So getting these things together, having these things in place is a game changer in your coaching.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is what I see with most in-person trainers. Like the really amazing in-person trainers that I work with that decide to transition online struggle the most with this. They struggle the most with building the systems and having that cadence and tracking client results past what they're so typically used to. And they kind of come in a little scattered, and they come in thinking that they can run their online the same way they ever ran the in-person, and you simply can't. And that can make or break that timeline, those 6 months of a coach coming in and really wanting to work on themselves for their business. where if you just look at it as like the foundation first and building that, then working everything else on top of it, it's a learning curve because you're literally learning to run a business for the first time. Like really, like in person is just so different. So give yourself grace in that, but do set the goal of what exactly needs to happen, not for necessarily the you today, but more of the you who's going to thank you a year from now for doing it.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. I feel like we probably just scratched the surface, but like those are the big things. Onboarding, having systems in place, tracking client progress that way, but also I think another big one is not pulling the trigger on changes before your clients are ready and making sure they're staying consistent with the process before you make any aggressive changes. Like Chris said, this is what we help our ACA clients with. So if something you feel so off about, it's not stuff your business coach is going to teach you. Business coaching is so helpful, but it's not something your business coach is going to teach you. And that's where we come in and helping you and supporting you with that is making sure that you are providing the high quality of coaching and you're feeling organized with that as you are growing with what your business coach is teaching you. Because if you're not organized in the business and what you're offering, it's a lot harder to scale. And if you scale on crumbled foundation, like I did in the beginning, it's a lot harder to dig yourself out. So start with your client, what you're providing to your clients, and I promise it's going to be a lot easier to continue. So like I said, that biofeedback tracker is in the bio in the show notes. So make sure to download that. And if you're interested in ACA, there's an application there as well. We can chit chat about what that looks like for your business.
And that's holy shit, it's going to be 2026 when our next episode goes live. Thank you guys for being so supportive in 2025, by the way. Like, I do want to just add a message here of like, holy shit, like everything. Dude, we need to do.
We have season 2 launching next. This is the last episode of season 1.
Yeah, we need to do like a rundown of maybe our like 2025, like 2026 ins and outs from merging our business in 2025. That can be like our next episode for you guys. Of us reflecting on 2025 and like what, worked and didn't and giving you the highs and the lows of it all. Like I know we did kind of a deeper episode not too long ago, but I think a little bit more on reflection would be great for you guys to see. But thank you for supporting us, whether you have listened to our podcast, whether you've downloaded a freebie, whether you've invested in coaching or joined our coach collective or anything, whether you've just been a client of Real HP or Revolution that have just stuck around this whole time. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. We cannot literally thank you guys enough for just being a part of our support system, because like we wouldn't be here doing this if you guys weren't helping us in the back end of it all and motivating Kelsey and I to continue to show up, because we certainly wouldn't have been as consistent as we have been had it not been for you guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we're so thankful for our people. The people that are, whether you're a client or not, or you're just cheering us on the sidelines. We chat on Instagram and you're just there to hype us up, or, you just are watching from afar of what we're doing. Like, the support means a ton. Business ownership is not easy. Kind of almost paving a path in a realm that's not really too touched right now. Like, it's scary. It's also really exciting. And we're just really pumped for what 2026 is going to bring. But yeah, seriously, to all of our clients, to everyone in our coach collective, to anyone who's attended a masterclass this year, to anyone who's been in a cohort this year or is still in our membership, like, we just thank you so much. And to our team too, because we know how hard it can be at times to be working with Chris and I when our minds are changing and our creativity gets sparked and we, change something last minute or we throw a project on you guys. Like, we're just so thankful, and it's been a crazy wild ride of the first year of business, and I'm just so excited to see what year 2 brings us.
Woo! It'll be amazing. Enjoy what's left of 2025, and we'll see you guys in 2026.
Wow, weird. See you next year. Bye. I always have to say that every year. Bye.
See you guys.